Podcast Network.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to segment 2 of Beyond the Diamond podcast here on the Apollo HOU Podcast Network. Brian Lalima, Apollo Dez here. Follow us on Twitter at BLima790 and at Apollo Dez1. And of course, you can find all of our content at Apollo HOU on Twitter, YouTube. Like, subscribe, resubscribe to our Twitch channel as well. And we are joined with one of the Astros pitchers, Andre Scrubb. Andre, thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate it. And you guys are fresh off of a win, a walk-off win against the Arlington Rangers last night. Was it pretty wild from your vantage point to see Miles Straw scamper home on a wild pitch to win it?
Oh, absolutely. I was warming up in the bullpen, so he saved me some bullets last night. So it was definitely good to see Miles sprinting to the finish.
And me personally, I guess when we talk about the extra innings, extra innings set, the extra inning rule to me is absolutely ridiculous. What do you? I mean, I know you're a pitcher, but what's it like coming in an extra inning game and you automatically have a guy at second base?
It's definitely different. It's one of those things that it's taken a long time. I've only had 2 years to get used to it, but it's one of those things where it's definitely different. It's not something you expect, but I mean, you got to give and give and take, and when it comes to negotiating and all that stuff. So I see where their point of view is coming from. I see where our point of view is coming from, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I think Des and I are on the same side as you are. So we can just leave it. I mean, it is what it is, right? So,
I mean, I guess what they want is engagement and people talking about it and games ending quicker. I mean, like every single day, it seems like we're complaining about we're on Twitter complaining about the rule, and we're complaining about, hey, it's almost like a leadoff double essentially. And now the pitchers are pitching out of this crap situation, and it's kind of chaos on both sides because now, like last night, I was there at the game and I was like, okay, I was kind of thinking through. I was like, if they scratch, it's almost you have to think they're going to scratch one because, one little poke, they're going to score and run in scoring position. I was like, shoot, we got Correa, Alvarez, and, and Breggs coming up. That's even better. I'm like, that's almost an automatic run. So you're almost like it's like a mental chess game as a fan. It's just like, I couldn't imagine when you're coming out of the bullpen, you're like, all right, it's my time. I'm going to go shine. And I turn, there's a guy at second base. I'm like, it's got to be tiresome.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something extra to think about, especially when you got speed that was the last out or a pinch runner coming in, like Chaz did for Yoron right there. Like, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things you think about. Like, you're not trying to get a ground ball here. You're trying to punch tickets. You're trying to strike people out instead of getting trying to get the first guy out early on contact.
Yeah, and you talk about speed. It worked out for you guys last night. Miles Straw being the last out in the 10th, and then he comes out in the bottom of the 11th, and he's automatically at second. So that worked out in y'all's favor last night.
Absolutely. I mean, Miles Straw being one of the fastest guys in the big leagues, that was definitely an advantage. Miles Straw.
Yeah, and so Andre,
go ahead. Sorry.
Talk about. I mean, you've been in the show now. Like, can you just walk us through that? Like, it's obviously every kid's dream. You're in the backyard. You're growing up, and you're just like, that's my end goal. I want to be in the show. And now that you're living through it, and obviously it's been different for you because obviously you came up in 19 and then 20 was the COVID year and you got a lot of run last year. And now this year you're expecting you're one of Desi's guys and one of the, I think you're a high leverage guy. Essentially you're going to grow into that role. But like, can you just walk us through your, 25 years old, you're in the show. Like, what's that about every single day? Has it sank in yet? Like, what's going on there?
No, it's just one of those things that you feel like you're dreaming every day. It's like you have like really no complaints when it comes to shagging BP anymore, or meeting up with fans or stuff like that. I mean, even doing interviews, you're so grateful to be in this position. And then on top of that, you grow up watching the game, watching some of the best, and you end up playing with them. It's very surreal. You got Zach Greinke, Ryan Presley, guys have been in the show for so long. Oda Rizzi, Correa. I remember watching those guys growing up, man, and playing with them in the game constantly. So it's definitely surreal.
That's awesome.
When you talk about shagging BP, you get out there and you ball hawk a little bit, or you just kind of take it easy?
I'm one of the few power shaggers on the team.
My man.
I like to get after it. I like to get after it. move this body around, get the blood flowing a little bit. But yeah, it's all fun out there. You'll see me out there with Jordan and Brandon Belak in left field. That's my spot.
That's awesome. I mean, we both played college ball, so we know that BP life. And I could think about like when I was a freshman, I was like, man, this is the coolest thing ever. And then when I was a senior, I was like, this is the most daunting thing.
Awful.
I hate it. So like to hear that from you right now,
Absolutely
you're just
terrible.
like loving it. That's so
Yeah.
freaking sweet, bro.
But I mean, that's like it's like the pitcher mentality, though, man. All the POs that I played with in college, they absolutely loved getting out there and shagging balls. When you got your outfield squad, because I was a right fielder, so you get out there and it's like lackadaisical at times, it's monotonous, and then you got you're actually trying to get reads on balls in visitor stadiums, and then you got your seventh inning guy hauling ass right by you, trying to make diving catches, power shagging, like you said, Andre. So I love it, man.
Oh yeah.
Andre, I had a
Definitely
few
fan of it.
questions. So you went to High Point University. Obviously, you got drafted in the 8th round by the Dodgers. But what was your decision on, going to staying home essentially to go to High Point? What other colleges were you talking to, or kind of what was going through all that before the show?
Well, so I was obviously young. I had offers from Virginia Tech, Maryland. I had spoken to, schools locally, a couple offers, up and down the Eastern Seaboard. But my mom had actually gotten sick. I was working at McDonald's, and I didn't know what my financial situation was going to be. So my number one choice at the time was University of Maryland. But my mom had gotten sick. I met Coach Cozart. He let me know that, I was going to be getting a bigger scholarship there than they're used to awarding. And, it was, it lined up well with my financial aid. So that was the main decision in going to High Point. But best decision I ever made. Coach Cozart's one of the best coaches I've ever played for. So it was really good. It ended up working out well.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And then obviously playing in the Cape, did that kind of springboard you as a prospect to obviously as college kids, like that is where you want to go. You want to go to the Cape. You want to play with those guys across the country. They come and that's where you play in the summer. How was that experience? And did you face anyone that's in the show now that you've seen up there? Because obviously that's a talent pool up in the Northeast.
Yeah, I mean, it was an unbelievable time. My host family was unbelievable. Took really good care of me. But I mean, the views, the food, everything was good. But the players. I mean, you're not going to see talent like that, especially with coming from a small conference. I remember the best lineup I faced there was Ronnie Dawson, Bobby Dahlbeck, Kyle Lewis, Abreu from Miami, University of Miami. There was hitters, man. There's a lot of dudes there. I was on one lineup, and then you got my pitching staff and Zach Gallen, TJ Zoik.
Jeez.
I mean,
Wow.
Zach Birdie, like just absolute names, man. And you can see it. You can see why these guys go to the bigger schools. Like I'm there, competing, but these guys get there, and it's like that's a whole different level of baseball, man. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, you talk about Kyle Lewis. Now he's in the same division as you guys.
Oh yeah, Kyle Lewis.
Yeah,
is unbelievable, man.
Yeah, he's a stud, man, and he's fresh off of an IL stint as well. So that asking one of the questions that I wanted to know. I think you've appeared in 6 games coming off of the IO. How do you feel physically? I mean, the shoulder, everything that was going on with that issue that you had, the discomfort. What was the workout like coming back, rehabbing, and then how do you feel right now as we're talking on the Zoom call?
The workout it was challenging at times for sure, but I mean, you trust these guys here. I was working with Jeff, obviously overseen by Jeremiah, but I mean, it was tough, but I mean, they know what they're talking about. I'm as close to 100% as I think that I'm going to get. I feel good. I'm going out there, came out the gates hot, but it's been going good. I got a lot of older guys, that a lot of veterans, especially now that Joe Smith's back. He wasn't with us last season. That, the advice, the things you need to hear to get through 162 games, not just 60 games. But I feel great.
Yeah, and with that question, it's no secret, man. You don't skip a leg day, right?
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the back squat. That's been my staple since High Point. I don't really enjoy the single leg as much. I know I need to get better at it for sure, but yeah,
Do,
I
do,
enjoy,
do you
I enjoy
see?
leg day.
I know on a lighthearted note, do you see anything on social media about even men talking about how much of a wagon you've got?
My father-in-law loves this. He sent me the tweets all the time. So I don't have Twitter. He'll screenshot it. And,
That's awesome.
got
I'm probably
appreciation pages for it.
Yeah. I'm one of the men that talks about your wagon. I'm not even gonna
guilty
because I don't look. I'm a big believer in leg day as well, but I don't have the wagon that you got, my man. So
it's the wagon and the clap, dude. I'm obsessed with
the glove clap. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah,
that's it.
Hey, I didn't think that was coming back. Getting that chance to come in a tight ball game. That adrenaline. Like, oh, you finally made it back to a high leverage situation. It was good. It was good.
What was it like? Like, obviously with the COVID year and last year, we just kind of at Apollo kind of coined the phrase, you guys were the young guns, you guys coming up from Fayetteville, from Corpus, all these young guys coming up. And obviously it was different because it was a 60-game sprint and there's no fans, but you guys all came up and it was like, you guys were never scared of the moment. I mean, from you to Blake, to Paredes, to Luis Garcia pitching, in an elimination game. Like, how does it feel to see your boys that you were with, obviously, and as pitchers coming up together as this new wave, and two, all seeing that success, and how do you guys sustain that now? Like you said, it's 162, and it seems like the veterans are kind of, doing what veterans do and are leaning on the young guys and teaching them all this stuff.
It's definitely attributed to the spring training we had before. When I got there, obviously I was nervous. It was my first real season with the Astros after being traded. And, Justin Verlander comes up to me and introduces himself. They make you feel so welcome and lets you understand what the game's about. But, especially the postseason, Ryan Presley, one of the best relievers, of my time playing in the game, probably will be for the next couple of years. I'm warming up in Dodger Stadium playing against Oakland. I think it's game 3 or 4, and I'm just firing bullets, and he comes up to me and, hey, you're gonna be all right. Take a deep breath, slow it down. Those veterans really help out, man. There's a lot of class acts in there. Michael Brantley. They make that moment seem so much smaller. I saw a play last night where Altuve got the ball from Bregman as he checked the runner at third. And I thought in my head, I got caught up watching Bregman. How did Altuve know to get the second that he wasn't going to go to first instead of just watching the play? Those guys take those big moments and make them so much smaller. And they teach that to us. And I really do appreciate him for it because it's not like that everywhere.
Yeah, my college coach did a really good job of telling us to think a step ahead, think a play ahead, know where you're going to move, know where you're going to react. Don't get caught watching. Don't buy a ticket and watch. Make sure you're always thinking ahead. You talk about the veteran leadership around the Houston area and probably amongst the league. You've got Brent Strom that's known as a pitching wizard. And we've seen what he's done with this staff over the last couple of years. Obviously, we as fans have been spoiled with Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Zach Greinke comes into the mix. You've got Ryan Presley dropping off disgusting sliders. What's it like working with Brent Strom? Because he's a consummate professional. And I would just kind of give me a little bit of insight on what it's like to get tips and little tidbits here and there and tweaking mechanics a little bit. Just kind of walk me through what it's like working with Brent Strom.
Brent Strom's probably one of the coolest guys I've ever worked with. You don't see a lot of coaches that have been in this game for that long that accept the analytics and know how to do what they do, coming up through so many years of the game and applying the analytics that the Astros are so good at having. But he's such a positive human. I'll go out, walk a couple dudes. I'm stressed out, and they'll be like, "Hey, Scrubby, do you see what they're saying about your curveball?" But I'm just like, this guy is always positive. He's never got anything negative to say. He preaches it. He doesn't like the coaches that are super negative and super hard on you. He likes to take a positive approach to the game, and he makes you feel so much better about yourself. So
that's awesome.
What's Zach Greinke like?
Oh man, hearing the stories about Zach was just so confusing because he's an awesome guy. awesome dad, awesome teammate. Like this guy is just 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. He'll always make you smile. Like goes out of his way to make you smile. He's a good dude and one of the best competitors I've ever seen in my entire life.
I know we're wrapping up on time, so we asked the fans at our Apollo. We tweeted it out, and we have some questions for you, and we can end it on that.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Oh, I mean, some of these are actually like really like
good baseball questions.
They're good baseball questions. Actually,
Here we go.
Well, one of them was just like they'd like to hear the story of your reaction when the moment you got called up to the show.
Oh, it was interesting because I actually got told not to get too excited because they said, "Hey, get to Houston. We don't know if we need you yet." So I'm at the team hotel. My wife's with me, and I end up. It's like I want to say 4 o'clock. So I'm like, I'm not getting a call up today. No big deal. Like I'm gonna go hop in the shower. Me and my wife are planning on watching the game together. And halfway through the shower, I get a call from Perkis, and it's, hey, get ready, come to the field, meet the team for stretch in about 30 minutes. And all those emotions happen so fast. You really can't like describe like how it felt in that moment. I'm really glad. Not a lot of people had their significant others or their family there, but I had my wife, to share that moment with. So it was definitely really cool.
That's awesome. Another question from K Mays goes, what do the guys do in the bullpen during the game? And true or false, is the bullpen catcher the single best job in all professional sports?
The guys really just try to stay loose. There's not really, you can't get too, you want to focus on the game, but you can't get too tired out by the stress and the ebbs and flows of the game. You got to stay focused, but you got to stay loose because you're just going to get mentally exhausted. But the guys just have great, bullpen, I think we had a segment, bullpen banter. We just have a great time talking about pitches, talking about the game. And bullpen catcher, pretty awesome job. They do work really hard though. It's one of those jobs they don't get enough credit. They're playing catch with 5 different starters a day. They're catching all the pitchers that are coming into the game. They're playing catch with the outfielder. They're rubbing up balls. I mean, these guys go above and beyond to help us out.
That's a lot of bullets for the wing, though, man. Are they icing? I mean, they might be doing.
Bracamonte, man, I don't know how he does it. He throws BP and he goes back out to the bullpen.
I mean, this guy, Bracamonte's got it figured out. I'll tell you, his arm motion is just so clean. I ask him all the time, like, how does your arm not hurt? And he's like, I think he worked with Clemens. I think he said, which is really cool. Worked on his arm path, and he's hung with it ever since. So
Clemens helping out Bracamonte with his BP form. That's pretty sick.
That's awesome. All right, we got a couple of questions about what we asked about.
Maybe it was
realized about the wagon, but what's the workout playlist like? This is from Michelle Neat. What are you listening to on game day or when you're working out?
I'm a big believer in mixing it up. We've been having a good flow of Big Booty Mix going on lately.
Let's go! That's our jam.
Big Booty Mix, guys.
That's our jam.
But as soon as the game's about to start, I turn on my. I'm a big Waka Flocka fan. Gets me fired up. And my brother is a producer. Sometimes I'll throw in his beats.
Nice. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so just anything that really gets the heart racing. You make you feel something.
Big Booty Mix, man. We got introduced to that. We went and covered you guys in West Palm Beach that last week of spring training, and that's when we discovered Big Booty Mix, and we've been huge Big Booty Mix guys.
Huge Big Booty Mix guys.
Yeah.
This last, or I think I have 2 more. This is from Morgan. She goes, when you first met your Astros teammates, whose personality surprised you the most, and who was exactly like you thought they'd be?
Personally, that surprised me most would be definitely Greinke. Obviously, coming from the Dodgers, I heard stories, and I'm like, oh, whatever. And I was actually kind of nervous to meet him, but easily one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Guy I talk to, say hi to every day, have a little conversation. Guy exactly how I thought they'd be. Bregman, definitely Bregman. He's an awesome dude. I always saw him. I was like, this guy just gets it. He's a good young guy. Like, he's fun and definitely a fun, good dude.
Is he putting the salsa? Is he putting the salsa in everyone's locker?
Hey, listen, I'm a big advocate for the salsa. I would definitely like to see more salsa in my locker.
Okay.
No, he's definitely hooked us up. We got some T-shirts. We got the salsa. He's definitely a grinder on and off the field. That salsa's attribute to that. So.
I mean, your father-in-law is gonna love all these screenshots of these wagon comments. I'm trying to sift through them all, but he's gonna love it.
Dude.
I guess the other question, I thought I saw one that was here, but what was one thing that when you came up to the show, because I have my buddy Jose Trevino is the catcher for the Rangers, and I have a couple other guys in the show as well that I played with growing up, and I always asked them, I was like, what was that moment for you when you're like, I'm really here? Like for instance, Jose's was like, I was at Yankee Stadium and I was finally catching in Yankee Stadium. Like, what was that moment for you? Like, you're like, yeah, I'm here. This is it.
Oh man, that moment, that big moment.
Have you even had it yet? Have you?
I had it. It was definitely my debut night, but it wasn't until the bench is cleared and I'm walking back to the dugout. I'm like looking around because I hadn't really looked around that day because it was the same day I drove all the way from Corpus, and the bench is cleared obviously with what happened, and I just remember walking back to the dugout, just like I'm on the mound still, and I'm like looking around like, holy crap, like, here I am. Like, one, I'm probably gonna be on TV for this the bench is clearing, but like this is crazy. But I mean, I feel like even in spring training, just seeing the guys like Verlander, Greinke, Bregman, Correa, it's just such a wow, I'm really in the same conversation as some of the greatest players to ever touch the dirt, man.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, dude, we're huge fans of you, and you've been, obviously, you come in and you just get out. So it's great to see the success you're having, obviously, this early in your career, and I'm excited to keep seeing you grow as a pitcher. And my last question is just, is there anything what's your spot? What's your favorite spot to eat in Houston? It's like, I mean, I don't want to dox where you're gonna go, so all the fans are gonna go, but like certain type of food, you have a spot you and the wife go to, or is it still you're kind of venturing out and getting to know the city of Houston?
Well, I still haven't been out obviously with COVID. But if you are in the city that I am in, it doesn't matter what city, you're probably gonna catch me at a Chipotle. That is, my brothers ask me every day because I play video games. It's, hey, did you get Chipotle today? I think in spring training I hit it 32 days in a row. I'm a firm believer in Chipotle.
Are you a Bolay fan in West Palm?
Bolay's good. The team gets it. When the team gets it, I'll eat it.
Okay.
I'll go to Chipotle after. So,
yeah. What are you gaming? What's the game that you're playing right now?
I'm above average at Warzone. I'm a laptop PC gamer.
Okay.
So
wow.
I get pretty crazy in the games. But Gears of War, I mean, pretty much anything, any FPS, MMORPG, any of that. So.
Hell yeah! What's the game, dude?
I'm a PS5 guy, and I am a very below average Warzone guy. But I'm a great bullet sponge and calling teams out. Yeah, that's what I do, right? You got to know your role and you play it. Okay. Yeah. So if you want an ammo box in the last 25, I'm there. You want to know when a guy's knocking you down with an Amex from 362 on the compass, I got you, man. Other than that, I'm not very good. I'm just gonna be honest. So, but Andre, man, we really appreciate the time. We'll let you go. I know you got a lot of stuff to catch up on and get ready for tonight's game against the Arlington Rangers. Again, thank you for the time. Des, you got anything before we get out of here?
No, brother, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. And that's Andre Scrubb, one of the Astros pitchers, joining us here on Beyond the Diamond podcast. Don't go anywhere. We'll have segment 3 right around the corner as we wrap up on Beyond the Diamond podcast here on the Apollo Podcast Network.